All of my content is also posted on 5colorcombo.com, a great website for all of your Magic the Gathering needs, including articles, podcasts, and custom Magic the Gathering tokens and playmats. As a subscriber to my channel, you can use the discount code NEEDSAHONE5 for a 5% discount in their store. You can find the link in the description below. Hello everyone, we are doing a Kaladesh draft for my weekly draft video, as you would expect. I do a new draft video every Monday, the latest format, and that's Kaladesh right now. So this pack has some solid cards that I've found myself first picking before, like Pima Outrider, Cloud Blazer. That's about it really, other than the Renegade Freighter, which is what we're actually going to take. We're going to take it just because it's colorless. Taking the 2-color card, is worth thinking about because it's a very strong one. And Pima Outrider's pretty great too, but Renegade Freighter it just goes in any deck that has at least like 13 creatures in it even. It's better if you have 15 or so, but it's fine even if you don't have a ton. So we're going to take the Freighter. Well, Welding Sparks is probably the pick here. It goes pretty well with the first pick Freighter. Other cards I like. I love Wild Wanderer. It's just a decent body, helps you fix, but I wouldn't take it this early. Weld Fast Monitor's fine, Die Young's fine. This pack's actually pretty weak. Welding Sparks is far and away the best card, probably followed by like Subtle Strike and then Die Young, something like that. And then the Wanderer and the Weld Fast Monitor are the next in line, but we'll take Welding Sparks. Means at least the person to our right, well, they might be in red if their rare was red, or they had a stacked red pack, but we'll see. The rare was still in there actually, so. 2 very good commons to start a draft with. Well, Gearshift Ace is quite nice with Renegade Freighter. And I feel perfectly happy taking 1/3 pick. Pyrohelix is fine, but it's just not as good in this format as an effect like that usually is. Gearshift Ace is great, though, just on his own, and then when you have vehicles, he gets even better. Blister Charger's fine, but it's definitely one of these 2 cards, and I think I like the Gearshift Ace a little bit more. Although, Pyrohelix, really good against Gearshift Ace. Okay, well, we also have a Speedway Fanatic here. We could just go full-on red-white vehicles, but there's also another Pyrohelix, and the Speedway Fanatic's fine, but Pyrohelix, I think, is just better. Aviary Mechanic is also really good, though it's better in a deck that has both colors with Fabricate, and right now that's not what we're looking at. High Spire Artisan's fine. Territorial Gorger's medium. I've had some fun with it in, like, really heavy energy decks, where I get, like, 1 or 2 energy triggers a turn, but that doesn't happen very often, and it doesn't look like that's where we're going to end up. So it's either Helix or Mechanic, and here I think we do take the Helix. I do like Mechanic, but the removal, I think, edges it out a little bit for me. Okay, Built to Smash is pretty good in an aggressive red-white deck, which might be where we're going, although there's not a lot in this pack to indicate to us that white is open. I think red, I guess I'm taking Built to Smash. Didn't actually mean to do that, but it is what we're taking. Well, there's a Glint Sleeve Artisan, so white's plenty open. Built to Smash is going to be good in our deck at least. I'm not really sure how what happened, but we're going to take Glint Sleeve Artisan for sure. 3 solid white cards here, so I think red and white are both open. Okay, well, not looking quite as open here. We could take a Fire Fortress Puzzle Knot, which is okay, and might make the cut, or we could take Ruinous Gremlin or Acrobatic Maneuver, which could end up being good in our deck and is a good sideboard card. These are both basically sideboard cards. If we end up with the Artifact Synergies, we might play the Puzzle Knot, and it's not a terrible card. It's just not a great one either. So, there's not a lot of Artifact Synergies in these 2 colors. There's just a few. But I think I will take the Fire Fortress Puzzle Knot. Well, I like Deadlock Trap. It's a pretty strong card to still be here. You do need to make some more energy for it to be really useful. And there's a Reckless Fireweaver and a Sky Swirl Harrier here, but Deadlock Trap has a way higher ceiling, I think. So I think I'm going to take it. I wouldn't mind either of these cards in our finished product, but I do like Deadlock Trap. Well, Speedway Fanatic coming back is great. I do like Inventor's Goggles, but I think we'll take a Speedway Fanatic. See if we can't pick up some more vehicles now that we have 2 payoffs for them. We don't really want more than like 2 to 3 vehicles, even with a lot of vehicle payoffs, but I wouldn't mind 3 Renegade Freighters or something. The Oval Chase Dragster is one I like a lot too, especially if you can give it first strike. It already has haste, so Speedway Fanatic's kind of wasted on it, but that's okay. Built to Smash is going to be good with it's good with an aggressive deck in general. It's great with Gearshift Ace, and it's just fine with all of our other creatures. Renegade Freighter already has Trample, but still pretty nice with it. Have to see if white remains open enough. I think it is, though. Now we will take a goggles. Aetherborn's fine. We could think about dipping into it. May mean that black's open, but goggles is a good card no matter what deck we end up in. And we already have one artificer. Now we have two. And we'll definitely take a firewalker. So we are getting artifact synergy here, and we're already up to 5 artifacts if we count Glint Sleeve Artisan. Maybe we count it as half an artifact because you don't always want the servo. But sometimes you do. It is hard to find great sources of energy for this, but the red Thriving Creature is pretty nice in this deck anyway if we're trying to go aggressive. And I have found myself finding more success with aggressive decks in this format. I do enjoy like the dirtily energy decks more, but the aggressive decks I've built have consistently performed better for me. And I've heard there's sort of a lot of controversy about whether this is a fast or slow format, which indicates how complicated of a format it is, because usually people can come to a conclusion, you know, but there's a lot of controversy. So white might not be open enough. We do have 2 good white cards. I would like to try to stay white. And red seems wide open with Fire Weavers around that late. I mean, it's certainly not an incredible card, but it's a solid card. But we would like to not lose these. We actually don't have a ton of creatures so far. We can obviously pick up more, but unfortunately, Thriving Ibex isn't the most aggressive. The black Thriving Rats is another 2-drop, which we wouldn't mind. Well, I guess we're going to take Territorial Gorger. Right now, it would not make our deck, and I kind of doubt it will. But it does have a pretty high ceiling. Well, not really, actually. It has like a middle, the ceiling, it has a low ceiling, but it's not incredibly low. You know, it goes from being unplayable to pretty good if you have enough payoffs for it. Okay, well, Skywhaler's Shot is incredible. I think it's probably just what we take here. It's a good reason to stay in white. I do like the Artisan, Inventor's Goggles, and we do need some more creatures. Wouldn't mind Weldfast Monitor or Spireside Infiltrator, but Skywhaler's Shot is really good, so we're going to take it. It's one of the better cards in the format in general. But yeah, the Gorger won't make it into our deck unless we end up with, like, I don't know, 6 to 8 ways to make energy, which is not easy to do in these colors. Right now we're looking at 1, so... Ooh, another good reason to be in white. Master Trinketeer is very strong. Another Goggles, which I wouldn't mind. I do like Oval Chase Daredevils and Dai Young solid. Eager Construct I wouldn't hate, since we're seeming to be a little artifact-centric, but we definitely take the Trinketeer, who can just start pooping out servo tokens and pumps. I was about to say poops. Pumps the servo tokens we make too, and it's also an artificer for our Goggles. Wouldn't mind Bastion Mastodon though. Our curve is probably going to try to be lower than that. Okay, so here we take Harness Lightning. We're finding it hard to take creatures because we keep seeing such good removal, but you got to take Harness Lightning. Weaponcraft Enthusiast is good. I wouldn't mind Gremlins at all. It would be good in our deck, and Skyskiff is fine. But I will take Harness Lightning here. It's kind of hard to say no to it. I doubt this makes it into our deck, but I was giving it the benefit of the doubt. Well, we have Weldfast Monitor. Thriving Turtle's fine. Puzzle Knot's fine. I mean, Thriving Turtle's more than fine if we were in that deck anyway. But we'll take the Weldfast Monitor. Works well with Built to Smash. But the packs are looking a little thin on red, which is, it may have just been that pack didn't have much because we got a Harness Lightning passed to us, which shouldn't usually happen, I don't think. But we did pick up 2 pretty good reasons to stay in white. I do like Salivating Gremlins for this deck. I also like Fragmentize, but I think I'd like to cut the playable red card here from somebody over the playable white card. Well, would I? Would I rather have the removal spell that's relevant? Nah, I think I'm going to take the creature. We're going to do it. I do like Fragmentize, but... Ooh, Quicksmith Genius. Eddy Trailhawk is another energy source, so yeah, and it can also give things flying, which is pretty relevant. You know, just giving like a 3/2 flying sometimes can be a lot. Skyskiff is fine. I think it's either the Quicksmith Genius or the Eddy Trailhawk, though we do have some artifact payoffs. I think we probably want the Eddy Trailhawk. Ibex makes energy too, but it's maybe the worst of the thriving creatures in my experience. It's still okay, but Quicksmith Genius would be fine in our deck, but I like Eddy Trailhawk a little bit more for what we want to do. Okay, so Spireside Infiltrator or Built to Last, and or Malphus Doorbuster. Well, maybe we're going to get there on energy. Malphus Doorbuster is great in an aggressive deck, so we just take it here. I think it's better than our other options in that pack. We could take Cogworker's Puzzle Knot if we end up being able to go wide enough. It also makes multiple artifacts, but it's not like we have a huge Fire Weaver plan at this point. We could also just take like a 5-drop as a curve topper even though it's not an exciting one. I think it's more likely to play the Harrier than the Puzzle Knot, so I'll take it. Okay, well, more energy, so maybe we will get there on a white-red energy deck. Fragmentize is good, but Shield Guard, I think, is just going to be better in our deck. So, it's looking a little more likely. We are up to 1, 2, 3... not really. Not looking that likely. We picked up a few, but it's not really going to get there for us. Well, we could take a Demolish for the sideboard, our second Harrier. I would rather have Ruinous Gremlin than the Demolish, honestly. But I guess it's good to have a decent sideboard card. And playing, I could probably get another Harrier if I want one. I'll take a Terror of the Fairgrounds. Take a Tezzeret's Ambition. Renegade Tactics. Dramatic Reversal. And a Mountain. This still doesn't look like it's going to make it. But we do have some nice... oh, we also picked up the Eddy Trailhawk. So we definitely would like some more creatures in this sort of deck. So... I would like for that to happen. I mean, what we have in here that aren't creatures are all good removal spells. There's a chance Deadlock Trap just gets cut if we end up being such an aggressive deck we don't want it, which can happen. But here we have a Fairgrounds Warden who's both a creature and removal. I don't really think I can say no to it. As good as Brazen Scourge and Propeller Pioneer are, Fairgrounds Warden is just better. I mean, we already do have a lot of removal, but Fairgrounds Warden's great, and it's hard to say no to. So I think I'm going to take it. Okay, so another Welding Sparks. We're a red-white control deck, which does mean we might want some more Sky Swirl Harriers and Deadlock Trap to try to win games, because I can't really pass another Welding Sparks. I could take Servo Exhibition, which is fine, or Bastion Mastodon, or Sky Skiff, but Welding Sparks is really good. So we're a very spell-heavy deck. Hello. Well, we only have one vehicle and one dwarf, but I think we probably still take her over, like, Built to Last. Yeah, we'll take Depala. We actually have more than one dwarf. We have several, so she's actually pretty good in our deck. So Fire Fortress Puzzle Knot probably won't make the cut in the end. We just have better things to do than that. Deadlock Trap might not. I think Built to Smash will, although we probably want about 15 creatures for that. Wow, another Fairgrounds Warden. Let's just go all dwarves here. Yeah, definitely take it over like Mastodon or Impeccable Timing. Fairgrounds Warden is just great, so... Our 3-drops are pretty stacked, which isn't like the greatest thing ever, but I'm okay with it. We'll take another dwarf. Go all dwarf tribal here. We have a lot of dwarves. Sky Swirl Harrier is okay, but Glint Sleeve Artisan's just great. We have some Servo synergies too. Servo Exhibition with Salivating Gremlins and a few other things seems okay. It's like not a creature, but it is a creature. We could also take another Salivating Gremlins, but we definitely need some 2s, so I think it's either Eager Construct or Servo Exhibition. With all the removal we have, we probably don't even need to run Built to Smash, which feels weird in an aggro deck not to run it, but we may not actually be that aggressive of a deck. Do I want Exhibition or Eager Construct? I think I'm going to take the Eager Construct. If I had like a lot of ways of taking advantage of servos, which I guess I do have Trinketeer. If I thought about that, maybe I should have taken Servo Exhibition. This pack's just bad for us. It's like a Tassel Dromedary. I guess it's not the worst sideboard thing to side in. I'll take a Built to Last. Yeah, things have dried up for us, but we're definitely got there on our deck. Depala is definitely going to be like the glue that holds it together. She'll be able to draw us tons of cards sometimes. We do only have one vehicle, which is a little sad. With our vehicle sub-theme we have here with Gearshift Ace, Speedway Fanatic, and Depala. We basically got all of the pilots who actually pump vehicles, and we don't really have a real credible way to abuse them, and we're probably not going to get them. I doubt there'll still be good vehicles around. I really only like Renegade Freighter, Oval Chase, Dragster. Like, I like those a lot, and I like Bomat, Bazaar Barge, and what's the other one that I like? Ballista Charger. Those are all things I'm okay with, but yeah. So we could take an Inspired Charge. I don't think we'll end up playing it. We're not really going to go wide enough for it. Pressure Point's okay. Appetite for the Unnatural is really good, and Insidious Will's better than it looks, so, but we'll take Inspired Charge. Another Dromedary for our sideboard. So Territorial Gorger probably still didn't get there, even with all the energy we picked up. Wow, guess I could have played blue-black. Make Obsolete's a good sideboard card, but not in our colors, so we'll just take a card that's at least on our color. Eddie Trailhawk with Renegade Freighter is pretty nice, that's for sure. And so Malphus Doorbuster and Console Shield Guard are good with it too. Well, we did end up with this to make energy too. Let's see. 1, 2. Really still don't think we got there. It's always nice if you can turn like a junk card you got like third to last into like a real card in your deck. But I don't think we got there. I think we only have 5, 6 ways to make energy, and that's just not enough to play a 4-mana 2/2 with trample. So our deck definitely has some high-powered removal, some of it creature-based, and Depala being able to draw as Fairgrounds Wardens is kind of messed up. So that's going to be pretty fun. How many dwarves did we end up with? I guess we'll check once we get to the deck building screen, but I think we got a lot of them. I think you're a dwarf, yeah, so that's nice. I don't think any of my other 2-drops are, though. These are dwarves, these are dwarves. This is a dwarf. You're, of course, a dwarf. You're a human. You kind of look like a dwarf. You're a dwarf, so plenty of dwarves to go around. 1 vehicle, too. So she'll be able to draw some cards, that's for sure. We do need to cut 1 card. We could just cut something like Sky Swirl Harrier, just focus our curve lower. I would have liked to gotten some more 2-drops in this deck, I do have to say. We have 4, I guess, which isn't terrible, but I wouldn't have minded Thriving Grubs and stuff to make our curve a little more aggressive. But what are you going to do? We don't really have that many artifact payoffs in the end, but I do think Deadlock Trap's a good card for our deck, even though we seem to be more aggressive. Is definitely the kind of card that can get us there in the late part of the game. I'm thinking I might cut the Harrier. This will let us run 16 lands. Even with this many 3s, I think I feel okay with running 16 lands. So I think that's probably what I'll do. The question is, do we still want the Fireweaver? I think we do. We need the 2-drop, first of all. Second of all, we're running 5, 6, 7. With Trinketeer, it's pretty awesome. We're running like 8 or 9 artifacts, and that's fine for Salivating Gremlins too. So, yeah, I think this is what we want to do. Let's sort by color here. We actually ended up with more white than red in the end, which kind of surprises me. It seemed like red was more open, but we got some nice white cards. It's 9/8 splits right. The question is, which way do I do it? This way is probably right. We don't have double colored anything, although it is worth noting this is also a red card, so we're closer to even. I mean, we can cast it without red. But yeah, I think this is what we want. And yeah, that'll be our deck. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in the first match, and don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.